The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is not that successful people never get stuck in their lives, in their finances, in their careers. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that unsuccessful people get stuck and never get unstuck. You know, it's interesting because mental illness can be defined as being stuck perpetually or being stuck continuously. Well, that's what I want to talk a bit about in our new program, Restart Zero. Restart Zero is designed to help you get unstuck, right? Successful people, they get stuck, but they have a system for getting unstuck. They encounter hardship, but they have a system for overcoming hardship. They encounter loss. They encounter all the other things that we encounter, that every other person encounters. But the difference is that the unsuccessful people, when they get in those places, they stay there. They don't have a way of pulling themselves out of the mud, out of that stuck place. Whereas successful people, they have a repeatable cycle. They know exactly what they're going to do if they run into a roadblock. They run into a roadblock, it's not even thought about anymore. It's A, B, C. I do A, I do B, I do C, I do A, I do B, I do C until I get out of this situation. And that's what we want to teach you here in Restart Zero. We want to give you a system so that if you encounter being stuck, you can get out of being stuck. Now, this whole process that we're going to go through, we call this a success gate. Now, when I say gate, you've probably heard that word before, and it may sound somewhat familiar to you. And that's because, quite frankly, it is. Gait describes our walking pattern, right? It is the description of the process we go through when we're walking. Now, walking, we're going to equate to progressing forward. So any part of our lives, so anything that's going to call us to progress forward, I'm going to use gait to help to describe that. So we call Restart Zero a success gate program because what it's designed to do is to give you a system so that you can continue to keep walking or progressing forward. Now, the interesting thing about gait is that when a person is walking, they put one foot in front of the other and almost fall into that front foot, right? Once they fall into that front foot, they're relying on their balance, the strength in their legs and in their core muscles to withstand or to hold them up straight as they fall forward. Then they push off of their back leg to create thrust to continue to move into the next fall again. It's kind of like how Restart Zero is designed, and actually the process that everyone goes through when they're trying to go from where they are to accomplishing the goals that they want to accomplish perpetually. In the process of reaching for success, in the process of going after our goals, we're going to encounter hardship. It's going to be taking that step forward, falling forward, and guess what? Our leg doesn't hold. Or guess what? There's an object that we weren't expecting to be there and we trip, right? Things are going to happen. Setbacks are going to happen. You're going to encounter loss. You're going to encounter trips, falls, all kind of things are going to happen. The difference, though, of where you are or how you handle it now and what you're going to be or how you're going to handle it when this program is over is that when you encounter those losses, you're going to have a plan to get you over that trip, over that fall, over that weak leg, and move you into continuing to progress forward. Progressing forward is healthy. Now, Restart Zero it's an interval scale. If you know anything about interval scales, you know, zero doesn't represent nothing, it represents the middle, right? If I had to equate it to something, it would be like looking at a temperature gauge. You know, a temperature gauge, we go to Fahrenheit temperature gauge, you know, there's a zero on a Fahrenheit temperature gauge. It doesn't mean that there's no temperature. It just means that there's a balanced place between hot and cold temperature, right? Between heat and cold, there's a balance or a neutral place. It's the same thing on Restart Zero. Restart Zero is a neutral place. It's neither good nor bad. It's relative to what your last decision was. If you're at restart zero, if you're at the restart zero place and you were once in a place of progression, then that probably means either you stopped walking or you had a mishap that caused you to stand still. If your previous place was at a place of remediation or remedial, it doesn't mean stupid. What it means is that you had to take a step back so that you can improve something so that you can go back forward again, right? That's all remedial is going to mean in this program. So if your previous step was a remedial place, then re-step forward is actually a step forward for you because you've gone from a place of remedial to now a neutral place. Re-step forward is relative. It's relative depending on what position in your life that you're in. What our hope is, what our plan is for this particular program is to give you a system so that as you're falling forward to accomplish your goals, you're falling forward, pushing forward to accomplish your goals, or to eliminate bad habits or bad people or bad ways of doing things, things that are hindering you. As you work to remove those things, we want to give you a structure or framework so that you can repeatedly do this over and over and over again. There'll be no more you run into a tough place and it's, oh, I don't know what to do. No, you'll know exactly what to do. You'll fall back to your game plan. You know, it's like every sports team out here. Every team, it doesn't matter what professional sport you go to. There's a form of strategy that goes into every professional team, and they all have a game plan. If they get into a certain situation, they have a game plan for getting out of that certain situation. 3rd and 10, I have a game plan for that. 4th and long, we have a game plan for that. 1st and 15, we have a game plan for that too. And not only do they have a game plan for where they're at on the field, but they also have a game plan for how much time left they have in the game. It's the same thing with you. Restart Zero is going to help you formulate your own personal game plan so that you won't get stuck anymore, so that you will know exactly what steps to take when you're encountering hardship. And guess what? If you're in a position right now where you can't quite get out of the remedial part, you're in a position where you have a bad habit or a hang up, maybe a way of doing things that's working against you. Maybe it's a group of people, maybe it's a surrounding, it could be a job, maybe it's extra weight around the midsection that you're trying to get rid of. Maybe it could be an annoying coworker, maybe it could be an annoying job, maybe it could be a financial situation. Whatever your remedial place is, we're going to help you get from that remedial place to restart forward, restart zero, which is that neutral place. And then from there, we're going to get you progressing and moving forward. That's what this plan is for. That's what we're planning to lay out in front of you. Hope you enjoy the program, and we'll see you in the other modules.